Welcome to Alloy Crochet Love. I'm excited to have you here and thank you for joining me on this creative journey. Together, we'll explore tips, tutorials, and amazing crochet projects. Be sure to check out eloycreation.te for more resources and unique handmade items. Today, we're diving into crochet basics, perfect for beginners. We'll cover essential supplies, basic stitches, and a fun practice project. Let's get started. So what are the essential tools we need? As a beginner or refresher, you'll need a hook that matches the requirement of your yarn, acrylic yarn which is great for starters, scissors good enough to cut your yarn, stitch markers to mark rounds or stitches for accuracy, a measuring tape to make sure your project is just the right size, and a yarn needle for weaving in ends or sewing pieces together. Another thing in yarn, you'll see the recommendations, for example, the size of the hook, or what type of yarn you are using. Now, let's talk about how to hold your hook. There are two common grips. First, the pencil grip. Hold your hook like you would a pencil, with your thumb and index finger. It's just like when you're holding a pen to write. Or try the knife grip. Hold it as if you're holding a knife, with your hand over the top. Try both and see which feels more comfortable for you. In addition to learning how to hold the hook, it's important to understand how to hold the yarn for crocheting. Start by draping the tail end of the yarn over your left hand. Next, take the working yarn, the yarn connected to the skein, and wrap it under and around your pinky finger. To control the tension, raise or lower slightly your index finger with the yarn and pinch the tail of the yarn between your thumb and middle finger. So, are you ready to hold your yarn and hook for our basic but essential stitches? Let's start with a slip knot. I'll show you 3 different ways to make it, so you can choose the one that feels most comfortable for you. As you can see, I'm using acrylic yarn and a 6mm hook. Take the tail end of the yarn and drape it over your 4 fingers like this. The other end is the working yarn. Hold the working yarn and wrap it around your 2 fingers, not too tight or loose. Turn your fingers up, creating an X on your fingers. Bring your other fingers close to your middle finger to help keep the yarn in place. Hold your hook comfortably with the tip facing you and slide it under the bottom strand of the X. Twist the hook downwards to grab the top strand and pull it through. Make sure the yarn stays securely on the hook. Gently remove the yarn loop from your fingers, keeping the loop intact. Pull up on the loop while holding both the tail and working yarn. Adjust the loop on the hook, not too loose or too tight. And there you have it, your slip knot. Another way of making a slip knot, which I find more comfortable, is without using a hook. Take the tail end of your yarn and drape it over your 4 fingers and wrap it around under, forming a circle. Pinch the point where the yarn crosses to hold the loop in place. Gently remove the loop from your fingers. Insert your fingers into the front of the loop to pull the working yarn through from the back. Hold it, then pull the tail end of the yarn to tighten the knot. Now, to adjust the slip knot, insert the hook into the loop, making sure it's not too tight or too loose. Just right to start crocheting. And the last method is, take the tail end of your yarn and drape it over your fingers. Wrap the working yarn under and around your pinky finger. Then pinch the tail yarn with your thumb and middle finger as needed. Control the tension with your index finger. Next, grab your hook and yarn over by inserting the hook from the back and twisting it around to form a loop. Hold the loop firmly on the hook to prevent it from loosening, but avoid making it too tight. Yarn over again. Note that to yarn over is to put your working yarn over top on your hook. Use the hook to grab the yarn and pull it through the loop on the hook. Then you have the slip knot. Whichever you prefer and find it more comfortable, work on it to start the foundation stitches of your project. What is a chain stitch? A chain stitch is a series of link loops created by pulling the working yarn through a loop on your hook. This forms a chain-like pattern and serves as the foundation for most crochet projects. It's one of the most basic and essential stitches in crochet, often referred to as a foundation chain, base chain, or starting chain. If you missed the part about making slip knot, rewind the video a bit and watch it first. It's important to understand the slip knot before starting your foundation chain. So, let's create a slip knot first. Now that we have a slip knot, let's proceed in creating a chain stitch. So to create a chain stitch, yarn over and pull the yarn through the loop on your hook. Repeat this process to make a chain of stitches. This chain will be your foundation chain. Note that consistency in tension is key. It's important to ensure that each chain stitch is neither too loose nor too tight. The yarn should slide easily through the hook, without being too snug or difficult to work with. Remember, practice makes perfect. With time and practice, you'll be able to create beautiful and polished projects just as you envision them. It is important for us to know the difference of a slip knot and a slip stitch, as we will be using it in our first project. The slip knot and the slip stitch are two different techniques used in crochet, and each serves a purpose. A slip knot is used to start a crochet project. It's the very first loop you make to attach the yarn to the crochet hook. While a slip stitch is a crochet technique used to join stitches, move across stitches, or finish off work without adding height. We can consider it as a ground zero. So in short, the slip knot is for starting your crochet project, while a slip stitch is a technique used during the project to move across or finish stitches. Now, It's time for a fun project. Let's put those stitches to work with a small practice piece. A simple bracelet. Here it is. I call it the knotted bracelet. Let's begin by making a foundation chain, basically combination of slip knot, chain, and slip stitch. Remember, the slip knot doesn't count as a stitch or chain. First, make 3 chain stitches, then go back to the first chain and create a slip stitch. Repeat this process until your bracelet reaches the desired length. So, it's chain 3, slip stitch into the first chain, chain 3 again, slip stitch into the first chain, as I have measured it earlier, I need around 15 to 16 knotted stitches. So now I'm having 1, 2, 3, and 4 knotted stitches. We will continue this until we reach to our desired length. I still need one more knotted stitch to complete the desired length I want. Now that I have reached my desired length, I'll cut the yarn and tie both ends together. And there you have it, your knotted bracelet. Here's a fun bit of trivia for you. Did you know that crochet was originally practiced by men? In the 19th century, crochet was popular among men in the Middle East and South America before becoming more associated with women in Europe. Now, thank you for joining me in this first lesson. I hope you enjoyed learning the basic and feel ready to start your crochet journey. Stay tuned for our next lesson with an exciting project. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share so you can stay updated on all future lessons.